In this session, we'll be taking an overview as to how geoinformatics data is used as base data for design of stormwater drainage system. Now, whatever methodology which we'll be covering is not a standard procedure, but a procedure in general adopted for combination of research work as well as commercial project work. So let us go through a flowchart which elaborates how this geoinformatics data is processed and then how further it can be used to do calculation related to stormwater drainage design. Now, this particular process flowchart shows how the flow of data will take place. So let us start with data collection and processing. You need a satellite imagery. Uh, Generally for urban stormwater drainage design, you need a very high resolution satellite imagery. From research purpose, it may not be made available or it may cost you. So it can be either a free data or data which is obtained through commercial purpose. So here you have least for satellite imagery data about 5.6 meter resolution, but you can also have even a higher resolution imagery like say of QuickBird of say 0.6 meter resolution, so that you can actually have ground truth as well as mapping of urban areas in more detailed way. Then you do pre-processing, then georeferencing of that imagery, uh, followed by you take out clip of study area or you subset that. After that you do supervised classification or hybrid classification so that you have an land use land cover map. Now the whole process can be carried out either for urban area, for other areas as well, for working out hydrology part of the catchment. Now herein, if you are working in say civil 3D, then probably you can drape a digiglobe image on the background of that is satellite imagery on the vector file or the CAD file in which you are working on the surface or terrain model, and therefore for assumption of runoff coefficients you can actually go through the satellite imagery and accordingly input the data. Obviously the design is to be done for future development, so either you can have a background image of development plan or you can forecast future development and accordingly put in runoff coefficients. So there can be a number of ways by which you can use this satellite imagery and use it to work out land use land cover map. The other is topo sheet data. Depending upon the study area, you can have a mosaic of topo sheets and then you narrow down to the topo sheet under your specific area. You can use this topo sheet by digitizing it. First you scan them, or ready-made digital formats are also available. Then you georeference, then datum transformation and reprojection. You may want to reproject it to coordinate reference system. Let's say UTM reference system with WGS 84 as datum. And after transformation and resampling, you create a study area subset. And lastly, you create your own vector layers based on the topo sheet data, mostly contour data. So depending upon scale of topo sheet, you can have a better contour data and then you can match up with actual data which you may get from digital elevation model of different resolutions. So from topo sheets you have your road map as well as you can also have soil map based on NBSS LUP. so that you can digitize and put it here. Now if you are working hydrology in say WMS, then you need two layers, that is LULC map as well as your soil map, so that you can further process it on digital elevation model. Now this next data is for this particular project, combination of research project. Here I have used both PMC data because the PMC data is combination of actual survey done using total station. So the contour data along the made up grounds along the roads was available, so that again you do the whole process and create your own terrain data. You can also import Amsterdam data of 30-meter resolution, or you can have Cartosat, or you can have SRTM data of say 90-meter resolution free of cost. So from USGS site, and from this Amsterdam also you can have your own contour map of the study area. The last data that is required is of uh, rainfall data, which you collect from IMD, and also rainfall data from hydrological data user group from data center at Nashik. So that data, rainfall data, may be say short duration data, or it may be of daily rainfall or hourly rainfall depending upon the set rain gauge station. Now for purpose of design, you need to fit this data into probability distribution. So herein I have used say about 10 to 12 probability distribution, try to fit this data into different distribution, and then also trend analysis of what the rainfall pattern is, followed by after fitting this distribution and using correlation test, you work out the IDF for a particular probability distribution. So this IDF curve, that is intensity duration frequency curve, is generated for different return periods, say 1 in 2 year, 1 in 5 year, 1 in 10 years. Generally CPHWO mentions return period of 1 in 1 year or 1 in 2 years for design. So you may either stick to that or higher value of probability distribution depending upon whether it's a research project or a commercial project. Now in addition to that, what based on this rainfall data, you can also create an isopluvial maps of the study area subset, because you have number of rain gauge stations, you have rainfall depths at different location of rain gauge stations, and based on that you can create a zone map of different rainfall patterns. Similarly, based on IDF curve, you have IDF curve equation, and in that you have different constants. So based on constants at different rain gauge stations, you can create your own map of IDF curve constants so that this is readily available for different return periods, and therefore the designer can easily pick up a location where he wants to design a storm drainage system and choose the values of constants of IDF curve from the map. So likewise different data is processed. So finally you have this elevation map from contour, slope and aspect map, so that you know how the flow is taking place. And in addition to that, based on digital elevation model, and into that as well micro catchment, for a particular storm drainage network, you can also have mean slope directions. That means it will indicate for a small micro catchment what is the actual direction of flow over the terrain. Now based on this data, further what you do is, depending upon which software you are using, you can import this data into a particular commercial design software. So herein I have used Civil 3D. It is available to faculty as well as students on license basis by registering with them. So you can utilize this. So I have used this Civil 3D because wherein you can actually create a digital elevation model, create networks, and then export this to HydraFlow as well as SSA for further design. So all this integration is possible in Civil 3D as well. So once you create this vector data of say road network, also other shape files of say isopluvial maps of rainfall or IDF constants, elevation maps, land use, land cover, and soil map. Now in Civil 3D, theoretically what you require is only the shapefile or CAD file of road network on which, and obviously digital elevation model from which you create a surface, so that when you draw a stormwater line, it picks up elevation from the surface. At the same time, when you assign a contributory area, you can assign runoff coefficients based on the land use, land cover, as well as other parameters that may be required for the catchment to work out the discharge. Now what you do in Civil 3D is you create that layout, that is generate a fixed network layout. Then you set different rules for how much should be maximum slope and minimum slope. Similarly, minimum cover as well as maximum cover, say minimum cover of 0.9 meter, maximum cover of say 3 meter, or not to exceed that. Likewise, by setting limits, you can align stormwater network in Civil 3D. You create a GIS shapefile of that, or Civil 3D file in form of DWG is also created. Now once this network is created, then you export this network. Once this data is all input regarding the catchment as well as the pipeline, the stormwater line which you have drawn, then you export this to built-in tool called as HydraFlow, which was initially separately available. Then you export this to HydraFlow, and then in that you set up the explicit and implicit constraints related to design. Now herein those constraints are obviously related to design parameters. That means what are the available diameters from which you have to select, so that you can input. Similarly, you can set off constraint related to velocity, that is from minimum velocity of say, that is self-cleansing velocity of say 0.6 meters per second to maximum velocity of say 3 meters per second. So likewise, different constraints you can add in along with cover, etc. So then by varying velocity as well as the slope constraint, and along with that IDF core input and return period, you analyze the network. Now this is what you can do actually once you have this geoinformatics data available in form of network file, and this network file you process it in Civil 3D and HydraFlow, and you do the analysis. Now herein what I have already added over here is, as you create a mixed network of particular storm drainage system with maximum number of pipes, you apply a spanning tree algorithm. So I have separately designed a code in Python, so that what it does is, based on the network which you have created and the mean direction of the dam, it has number of alternatives generated. The first network is obviously mixed network, the second one being the network wherein the pipes are aligned along the direction of dam, and the other one is all the pipelines which are only across the direction of dam. So likewise such different networks are generated, and then these different layouts you design for different constraints. including say varying velocity as well as slope as well as d by d. So number of parameters related to design can be varied. Now once you do all those things, then what you have is final output, that is hydrodynamic analysis of particular software in HydraFlow, where you have results. Then further you take this HydraFlow design to SSA, that is Storm and Sanitary Analysis software, again built in Civil 3D, and then you simulate and work out the design report and check where the flooding has occurred, how much flooding has occurred, uh, modify the design, and accordingly suggest the final alternative. So this is how you create different uh, solutions in design. From here it actually starts your PhD work or research work as to with number of discrete solutions available or continuous solutions available, try to search the optimal value, and maybe Pareto optimal solution or the best solution will be your design. So you can apply optimization principles, and from multi-objective point of view you can design a storm drainage network. So this is how a flowchart suggests a combination of both research as well as actual commercial way of designing a storm drainage network. Now let us go through some images as to what kind of data that was used in such project. So here you have this Pune region with Pune Municipal Corporation boundary, and it shows different topo sheets numbering 47F10, 47F14, etc. of 1:50,000 scale, and the contour interval is of 20 meters. While if you have further zoom in, you have a contour of 1:25,000 with contour interval of 10 meters. So you can digitize that and you can have a actual digital elevation model or contour elevation shapefile of 10 meter contour interval. So that is also one good way of actually having a data, digitized data from contour, and it having higher resolution. The other data is of satellite imagery. So this is a swath of LIS 4 imagery procured from NRSC, and it having a spatial resolution of 5.8. You do all the processing on this and work out the supervised classification and work out final map of a particular subset which you have where of your interest. So you can see over here, let us say this is a LULC map of LIS 4 satellite imagery on a particular subset on a crop basin. In case of Civil 3D, when you have this shapefile or a road network file with you of a particular basin for designing of urban storm drainage system, this road network file either you have digitized from satellite imagery, or you have combined satellite imagery then open map dataset, or even from other imageries. So final vector file of road is available with you, and on the background you can have this digiglobe image of very high resolution on the background. So automatically you can analyze and see what kind of runoff or what kind of surface it is, and accordingly you can assign values. In addition to that, you can use development plan and check what can be future development and accordingly put values of runoff coefficients in the contributory areas. This is one more data which is used again in geoinformatics, is of 6 rain gauge stations around Pune Municipal Corporations, and rainfall data of all these are collected. Based on that you have processing of rainfall data and generation of IDF curves for all those stations. And again, to that, add to that, you have IDF constants at all these stations. Based on that, you create a map in using geoinformatics spatial interpolation, and you can see over here, that will be later. So based on this data, you can process and create different isopluvial maps or contour maps of constants. Here is Astel dam data within the PMC boundary showing different elevations. This is a Kothrood area sub-watershed extracted using ArcGIS, ArcSWAT. So you have different subcatchments and you can narrow down to individual subcatchment and design accordingly. Here is the sub-watershed of a Kothrood basin extracted, and in that the road network, and now you are ready to design a storm drainage network in part by part, which will further add discharge to those natural streams. These natural streams then will collect this discharge to the main river stream. Over here it's Mutha river. So likewise, design is generally done. This in Civil 3D you can create your own slope map to analyze the terrain. You can see how the slopes are varying based on your terrain model which you have created. This is a elevation map showing different elevations and how the elevations are varying from a particular region to river. Here is your direction map, so different directions, and based on this direction, these are slope arrows, which is a very nice tool in Civil 3D, wherein you can zoom in and actually see how the slopes are, and that helps you to actually decide as to how the network is to be designed and what should be the direction of pipe slope. So this is also helpful while designing. You can incorporate, and also you can delineate micro catchments manually, because you know how the slope is varying, and accordingly you create your own small micro catchments. This is one more soil map based on NBSS LUP. You digitize it and you create a vector polygon shapefile with these numbers as soil identification numbers. This you can use it in WMS for hydrology purpose, wherein you have this soil map as well as LULC map. IDF curve generated for different return periods, one in 2 years, one in 5 years, likewise. So it's again a very detailed procedure of creating IDF curve, which is not a part of geoinformatics, obviously. Here you have isopluvial map for say 20-year return period and 20 minutes duration created using inverse distance weighing method of spatial interpolation. So likewise, number of such contour maps for different return period and time duration, time of concentration can be prepared, which can help designer to pick up values and accordingly design. If you are using Kriging method, then you also have this variogram, so that helps you to understand how the variation is taking place and accordingly do the accuracy assessment. Now this is what you have as a small catchment. In that again you have small networks to be designed. Say for example, this particular D pipe network, A pipe network, so different numbering you can give, and the outfalls are near those natural streams. Now while designing, you have this mixed network with all connections along the road, and what I did was develop an algorithm in Python, which will again, you can see over here, small contributory area and the digital elevation model along with actual mean direction slope shown in red over here. It is extracted from the elevation model, while the pipe network slope directions along the how it is laid, it is shown over here. Now after you run the algorithm, which is just similar to spanning tree algorithm, it cuts out with based on logic whether these pipes are along the slope or across the slope without actually breaking the network as a whole. So after you run the algorithm as a Python plugin, what you get is these different layouts. These are just sample layouts which are generated. So this is a mixed network, and after running algorithm either across or along, so this is along the direction of mean slope of digital elevation model. So this is what you get, while if you run across, this is what you get. So likewise these three different layouts are available. Likewise number of layouts are possible. Once you get that, then again for individual layouts you have different velocity criterias, diameter criterias, depth criterias, partial depths, that is d by d ratios. So based on all those parameters you have number of solutions, and when number of solutions there, you have to optimize and find out which becomes your research topic. So this is all about how geoinformatics can be used in design of storm drainage network. Okay. In this session, what I would like to demonstrate is how this digital elevation model data can be used to design a storm drainage system in Civil 3D. Uh, I will not be going into details of actual design of storm drainage system because the focus is how this DEM data is used and stormwater design in general using these tools. So as you can see, this is a small Kothur subcatchment which I have extracted uh, along with this road network shapefile. In that also you see is the surface, that is digital elevation model showing different elevations, and if I zoom in you also have this a small approximate storm drainage network, which is a part network which will drain this water, storm water, to the natural stream which is shown over here in blue. So let us just see as to the capabilities of Civil 3D for processing of digital elevation model. You can also see at the bottom the coordinates are in UTM, UTM zone 43, and the whole drawing is assigned coordinate system of UTM zone 43, WGS 84. Now just for the sake of demonstration, what I have done is I have just clipped a portion of digital elevation model from this subset so that it becomes easier for me to demonstrate, because it takes a hell of a time to process sometimes. So this is the clip portion of digital elevation model, which only shows the elevation profile, how the surface elevation is changing. Now we'll just demonstrate different symbologies or different surface properties by which are helpful in actual design of such system. So after clicking the surface, now what I can do is I can actually generate major contours, minor contours. Let us first generate only major contours. So you can see over here, let us hide elevations. So what you have is elevation contours generated of the same surface. Likewise, you have different ways of displaying the elevation model, maybe say minor contours, so it will be more dense now and take more time. So this is how different contours are generated. You can label them so that you know what is the topography of the specified area. One more very good tool that is available here is the direction map. So by hiding other layers, I can easily display the directions, different directions, which you can again have a legend of how these directions are varying, or elevation map. So you can see this elevation map as to how the slopes are varying from the upstream of the catchment to the downstream where the river is located. So this is very good tool to analyze the terrain. Now the last one, which is most useful, is the slope arrows, which actually helps us in knowing as to how the water will be flowing. And then manually also you can delineate catchments, because it's a made up ground urban area, and probably uh, the contributory areas generated using GIS software may not be actual contributory areas. So sometime manual delineation is required. So as you can see here now, the whole surface is changed to directions, wherein if on the background if you have road network along with draped globe satellite imagery, you can actually visualize and see. If I zoom in, you can see the arrow portions and know as to how the flow is taking place, or the predicted directions of water when it flows over the surface. So this is how it will help you to actually delineate contributory areas as well as align stormwater pipelines. So this is how a surface can be visualized in Civil 3D. Now I will again switch to elevation map. Now one of very good tool that is available for catchment delineation and stream extraction in Civil 3D, which is a very fast tool, and it helps a designer to actually align or decide contributory areas, is this water drop tool, and the second one is this catchment area delineation. So there are a number of ways by which you can actually delineate catchments and create your own streams. You may have a toposheet digitized vector layer here, which actually will give you the stream alignments. So likewise the combination can be n ways by which you can do. I will just demonstrate this water drop analysis so that you know as to how uh, water is going to flow, and it will generate a stream in fact. So when I drop water, it indicates it's a outlet point. So let us say I drop it somewhere here. So you can see as I drop over there, it generates a stream here. Let us drop it somewhere here as well, or say here. You can check it has generated streams. Likewise, as I create water drops, it will generate streams accordingly. So this is a very fast way of actually analyzing network and extracting streams from the actual terrain. And then you can match up with actual vector layer of digitized streams from toposheet or maybe satellite imagery. Now we'll actually delineate a catchment based on whatever streams that I have done. Let us say this stream and say this is my outlet. So if I click over here, it will generate a contributory area. So this is the whole contributory area which will be the contribution to of this particular stream. Similarly, if I choose this particular point as an outlet, you can see how the delineation has taken place. So this is how in a very fast way you can actually delineate catchments, and such catchment polygons are available. Obviously it's a CAD software, so area, slopes, lengths, perimeters of catchment, all those can be easily extracted. So this is how this catchment and streams that can be extracted using Civil 3D. Now let us go back again to the bigger dam portion. You can see a approximate stormwater network, small stormwater network for a small area in Kothurud is shown over here. It's a very approximate way of actually delineating contributory areas. What you see over here is draped over the dam is your stormwater line, which is already laid, and if I select similar, you can see the blue line indicates the storm drainage network with different manholes and links or pipes and draining this into the outlet of natural stream, which is in blue color. So likewise, if I individually, these are all pipe networks which are already drawn along the road network. So I can edit those structure pipe properties or network properties. So all those part list and details are available. So that is part of Civil 3D. So you can select different network structures, that is manhole structures, and you can also select the pipe. And in design you will design accordingly, but here just for sake of alignment you can select any one of the options and also decide the arrow. That means how the pipe is going to be aligned and at what slope. So likewise these pipes are drawn. Similarly, rules can be applied as to depth of excavation, cover, likewise. So such, once this pipe alignment is created along with the contributory areas of for each manhole, you can see a small catchment showing the shallow concentrated flow with slope, time of concentration and actual area of catchment as well. So likewise, such contributory areas will contribute to individual manholes or design manholes and then lead to final outfall. Now for design, what you do is you export this to HydraFlow, which I have already opened. So the same network now is opened after designing the layout in HydraFlow, which is again a built-in tool in Civil 3D. Herein you can set off the codes related to storm drainage design. That means how much should be the minimum pipe size. You can select from all those lists what should be the maximum pipe size, how much design velocity you are specifying, and maximum slope, cover, likewise all Manning's constants, likewise you can specify. Similarly, how the calculations are going to take place. So all other hydraulics details can be manipulated over here. Now once you do that and you add this IDF curve which you have designed, you put in over here. So now it will design. So this is basically the spreadsheet layout of different pipes, similarly manholes, and after design you will get a particular solution. So you run that solution for different modeling concepts of design. So after design it will compute and further you can modify the design. I'm not going to do that at this point of time, but so it has actually created design and results will show you as to what the line flow, the discharge values, then the invert elevations, the slopes, hydraulic grade line, losses that are going to take place. So likewise all related parameters are shown over the result parameter. Okay, similarly it will also work out velocities at individual point, d by d ratio, etc. Now once this basic design is done, further the same file, that is this layout, further can be exported to SSA, that is Storm and Sanitary Analysis software, again built in Civil 3D. So you can see over here the same layout now is brought in storm and sanitary analysis. Green portion showing the sub-basins or contributory areas to individual junctions or manholes. And if I click, it shows you all the contributory areas. So you can see different areas, runoff coefficient, time of concentration, different ways of calculating runoff coefficients. So all those entities related to catchment can be inputted, which are already done in a Hydra flow. Similarly, for junction, those also are imported from Civil 3D, where you already have your elevation data set of maximum invert elevations, and pipe data, wherein you have pipe slope, pipe diameters, which are designed in Hydra flow. So here you can see the physical length, and this is how the geoinformatic data of elevation, length, etc. are easily used in further design. So other parameters, you can modify your design here. You can change from open pipe to open channel flow. You can change the shapes, etc., etc. So that design part of storm drainage system, all you can do it over here. Further, you add IDF curve. If you are designing based on intensity, duration, frequency curve, though your own designed IDF curve you can input over here. Now when you design in storm and sanitary analysis, one of the simulation options, which is very powerful option, so that it helps you to understand where the flooding has taken place, which pipes need to be modified, whether the design is optimal. So number of solutions are generated, and based on that you can have your own optimal solution. Now let us just analyze this, so that will be the last part. So you can decide the return period, say a 2-year return period. And before going into that, I will just like to show you the output, let us say, of profile of, say, from this point to this point. So if we check the profile, so what it shows is how the pipes are sloped, the position of manholes, position of these cross pipes. So this is what you have before design, and the outfall at the end. Okay, now as you design or perform analysis, because the design is already done, you can simulate and further modify. For say 1 in 2-year return period, you can see the profile plot now. Okay, what it shows is basically the hydraulic grade line. So for return period of 1 in 2 years, it also shows the water level lines in the cross pipes over here. Now I can also simulate this, or I think I need to add the IDF curve, which is for the region. I think it's loaded. Okay, so let us analyze for slightly higher return period. So I will select a return period of, say, 1 in 20-year storm, and see the effect. So now in cross section you can see the red portion indicate the flooding, or where the pipes are critical, while in animation also you can analyze the whole as to how the water level is going to change. So I'll slightly increase the animation speed, and over say duration of say about 2 hours, which I already said, you can see over here how the hydraulic grade line is going to vary. So it simulates a flow and also shows you where there will be flooding or surcharge for 1 in 20-year return period. So likewise it simulates conditions for different return period, and probably then you can design accordingly by modifying pipes, slopes, likewise. So this is all about how basic data can be further used to design a storm drainage system.